Hello again, folks. Welcome to another edition of Between the Banks. Come on now, be a spec. I'm in heaven. Anytime I can get to the islands this time of year, I'm in heaven. Oh, it is a nice spec. Nice spec. Here we go. To the net. Get in that net. Get in that net. Get back up here. There he is. All right. All right. Oh, yeah. I'm in heaven, folks. I'm in heaven. It's summertime. We're already into June. And here's what awaits you when you come to Lafourche Parish. Great fishing. Now I'm going to give you who, what, where, when, why, and how. And then at the end of this show, you're going to understand why I'm in heaven. So stay tuned. Specs are on at the islands. Life is good in the Lafourche Parish neighborhood. Stay tuned. All the details coming so that you can get in your boat and come out here and do all of this. You'll be in heaven too. Stay tuned. It's another Rock'em Sock'em edition of Between the Banks. And I'm going to tell you, folks, these are some really, really good eating fish. Stay tuned. Between the Banks is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana.
In the faces of our people, you'll see joy and you'll see pride. You'll see lines from years of laughter and from all the tears we've cried. You'll see eyes that shine with wisdom and the love that makes us whole. For within our people's faces, there are glimpses of our soul.
Serving the people of Louisiana since 1934.
Up and down the bayou. That's how we tell you to get from one place to the other. It's a little different, but so are we in Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. And once you get here, you'll understand why our Cajun runs a little deeper. Find a piece of our story on swamp tours, fishing boats, at festivals, attractions, and restaurants. Visit lacajunbayou.com to plan your trip today. Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. Rich, natural, unapologetically Cajun. Just south of New Orleans, where Cajun runs deep.
Folks, everybody gets Between the Banks. Here's how easy it is. Go to your address bar, type in betweenthebanks.com, search, and here you are. The latest videos, services, and products provided by Between the Banks. Check it out, betweenthebanks.com. Everybody gets Between the Banks. All right, another big spec. Okay, so I came to Philo Bryce Island. All kind of boats here. Obviously, people that watch Between the Banks see us hammering them out here. But they didn't see the important part. You got to be patient. We got a full moon. Fish are feeding at night. You got to wait on them to turn on. You got to find the bait, the clean water, the nervous water. You find that, you drop your anchor, and you wait on them. Wait on the fish to bite. Sonar shows you the fish. You know they're there. That's what's going on. When I come back, I'm going to show you how I'm rigged. Stay tuned. Another nice spec. Another nice spec. Oh yeah, coming up the side here. Right, coming up. There he is, right there. Another nice spec. Oh, it's a buck redfish. They got them out here too. Oh man. I'm gonna really have a blast today. Really have a blast. Alright. So, I'm going to take this fish off, folks. When I come back, I'm going to show you how I'm rigged. Stay tuned. I don't think he's 16 inches. Tail's not blue, but that's falling tide. Right now, I got incoming tide, speckled trout time, so I'm trying to cash in on it. Stay tuned. Gonna get this one off, throw it back. I'll show you just how I'm rigged. All right, folks, so I'm gonna start at line's end and work my way back. Okay, now, it's not where, it's how and why. So I get tired of people emailing me saying, Cap Bob, we went to Villa Bryce, we didn't catch anything. Number one, gotta have patience. Number two, gotta be rigged right. Number three, gotta know what's under the water. If you know that, you got it. You're gonna catch fish. All right, so 1/0 Kahle hook, black or bronze. I don't like using silver, black or bronze. Tied to a 30-pound test shock leader, low vis, triple fish camo line. On the hook, Kakaho minnow from Gugu. Why? Big bait, big fish. Notice none of those fish were tight eyes. They were all big. That's because the minnow culls the fish for me. If it's too big of too small of a fish, he can't get this in his mouth. When I set the hook, he's not going to be there. So coming from under the lips, through the tissue, between the skull and the lips. That's where the Kakaho goes. Now, going up the 30-pound test shock leader, and I'm coming to a 1/8 ounce weight. Now, I'm going to kill all kind of emails while I'm talking about this, because I'm going to answer questions that people ask. 1/8 ounce. If you're bigger than a 1/8 ounce, you're not going to catch. You got to be 1/8 or less. Okay, you don't want the weight to bury your bait into all the structure. I fish structure, something under the water that's making those fish stay there. So I pass the leader through it once and twice so I can slide it up and down. The reason I do that is, say I want to slow that minnow down, I can lower the bait. I can also slide it down and put a clip-on cork here. All kind of versatility when you rig this way. Then a black crane swivel. That's what's tied to the top of the leader and to the end of my 12-pound test Berkley Pro Spec. Again, low vis line. I know when you're looking at this, you can hardly see that line. Low vis, 12-pound test. Why do I use Berkley Pro Spec? Because I can put 125 yards on a 30 class reel. This is a Daiwa Regalis. I use that in Revos. 3000H. Lighter reel. I don't have a heavy rig. On a 7-foot medium action Team Daiwa rod, excuse me. And of course, there are the parameters. Tells you just how much weight you can put on the line, okay, without losing the sensitivity or changing the parabolics of the rod. So you got to be rigged up right. Okay, now let me show you how I'm catching the fish. All right, of course, all of this gear you can get over at Tides. Tides, great food, tackle store, got the club next door. All my gear comes from Tide. Everything, corks, swivels, rods, reel, everything's coming from Tides. Competitively priced. Okay, so check out the fishing spot here. I got a point. You can see the end of the island here. I got a point that comes out to my left. You can see the pelicans swimming here. Now, you've been watching Between the Banks, you know I fish bait in nervous water and clean water. The water's Gulf green. So I'm gonna take the line and I'm gonna throw it right over the point. It gets on the other side. I'm holding my rod tip up. Check me out. You already saw the pelicans over there working that school of finger mullet that are popping the surface. I'm gonna hold that rod tip up like this. And all I'm gonna do is I'm feeling the weight. I imagine what's down there on the bottom. So I can see my weight hitting that underwater point right there. And then when I pull that weight, minnow swimming above it, weight's dragging the bottom, I pull that weight over that underwater point, I'm gonna expect that fish to hit on the other side. But I'm keeping my rod tip up. I'm never going below 10 o'clock. I got wind coming at my back, an east wind. It's pushing the water around the point. I got pelicans feeding. I got finger mullet. I know the specks are there. So I'm just gonna hold my rod tip and just real slow. Now, one other thing. We're filming on a full moon, right after all that 10, 11 days of rain that we had. So I need a new show, so I had to come out here in tough conditions. So what I'm doing is I'm fishing light because of the full moon. The fish are not aggressive, they're impulse hits. They're not feeding hits, they're impulse hits. That means when the bait comes by them, they can't stand it, they'll hit it. So that's how I'm fishing the spot, equipment-wise and spot-wise. So stay tuned. We'll see if I can put some more fish in the boat. Another one on. Another one on. I think it's a speck. Sure is acting like one, running like one. Oh, yeah, that's... Oh, missed him right there at the boat. But that's all right. You got a good chance to look at him. Got off before I could get the net on him. All right, now folks, I'm gonna tell you something. This morning, there was at least 25 boats here. And I'm glad, because it lets me know a lot of people watch Between the Fangs. But we got here about 6 o'clock, nice and early. I got on the point, where the southern point, where I knew the fish would be, because I've marked them. And I came here and I stuck anchor. We didn't catch one fish the whole time we were here, until all the boats finally left. Now they've got a few stragglers left, but out of those 24 boats, we're lucky if we got more than 3 here. You know, no patience at all. Pull up to the spot, fish aren't biting, I'm leaving. Has nothing to do with it. Leaving. The fish are gonna turn on when the bite comes. And you gotta be patient enough to wait for that bite. You don't wanna be running your engine when that bite happens, or you're not gonna put any fish in the box. Especially on a full moon. You know the morning bite isn't gonna be like a normal bite, because they feed at night. They start about 4 in the afternoon and then go on till 6 in the morning, and then it's over with. They feed at night on the full moon. So you gotta really exercise patience, just like I'm doing. Exercising patience and waiting for that big bite. Big bite's gonna come this afternoon, after they start getting hungry and they want to start feeding again through the night. That's what it is. Oh, missed him. And also, this was a good example. You cast out and you don't, the fish pulls the line down, you set the hook and he's not there. When I'm using these big goo-goo minnows and finger mullet that I cast net, I guarantee you, I'm happy, because that fish right there was a smaller fish. I don't want to catch those. I want to catch the big ones, which is why I use big bait from Goo-Goo. And of course, he's got live shrimp too. There's another one. See, real soft hit, sitting on the bait. The weight's coming through those old roots on the underwater point. See, I'm stuck right here. So my weight's in that stuff. All I'm gonna do is kink my line like that. It comes loose. I pick up my slack, and now I'm waiting for the fish to hit it, because it just came around all those roots and he can see that bait. So real important that you fish that way. All right, stay tuned. Let's see if we can get another one on. I can't tell if it's a speck or a cat, but it's got some weight on the end of it. We're gonna soon find out. As you can see, the boats are still running around behind us, all around us, still running. You know, oh, it's a cat. It's a catfish. You're gonna catch some of them too, folks. You just gotta bear with them. Stay tuned, gonna flip him off, get back out there again. Stick with us. Nice one on here, folks. See if I can get this one in without losing him at the boat. Oh yeah, nice. Oh, redfish. There you go. Like I was saying, the reds won't be far behind. Once the high tide switches, then the reds move in on the point, and this is a keeper. So let's check his tail out. Just beginning to turn fluorescent blue. See how it's lit up right here on the tail? And then very little right here. So once that gets a full red, I'm gonna know that the tide is going out. That's a redfish tide, falling tide. Speckled trout is an incoming tide. And what I'm gonna do, folks, is I'm gonna move off of this south point, which is what I fish for specks with that incoming tide. And I'm gonna go to that northeast point again and sit there and wait for the tide to make the switch. And then I'm gonna catch reds and specks. Two different spots, two different conditions. Now, what's held me on this south point? All you fishermen that came out to Philo Bryce on full moon in June, and you saw Captain Bob sitting on the southeast point, staying here while y'all all left. And now you're tuning in and you're watching what I caught on that south point. And what held me here like a magnet is all the bait that I've got right up in here. If you look really good and we hold on the spot here, you're gonna see, look at the finger mullet that break the surface here. See them popping all over the place? They just, you can see them flashing. There was one right there. If you just look really good, you can see them. Plus, take a look at those hungry pelicans that are sitting over there in a group. Occasionally one flies out. Look at them coming off the bank, feeding on those finger mullet. So, I mean, why leave? Why leave? The water's Gulf green, the bait's here, the fish are here, all types, reds and specks. And look at those chomping, hungry pelicans, just waiting for the feast. Stay tuned. It's a keeper red going in the box. All right, so I'm waiting for that tail to get full blue. You can see the corners blue. Now I'm waiting for it to get lit up, and I know that's going to be the sign that it's time to move to that northeast point and fish that falling tide, which is a redfish bite. So I'm going to pick this fish up. Let's take a look at the Marina Minute. All the fine businessmen that make your fishing trip here complete. You can start out on the north end of Bayou Lafourche Parish. You got Lake Buff, come on down. Lake the Zalmans, come on down. Got the Intercoastal, Lake Salvador, all of the spots around Delta Farms. Come down further, got Basons, the Sulphur Mine. Come down further, got Last Cast, Catfish Lake, Galliana, don't forget. Got renovations. Take care of all of my marine stuff. Power pole dealer and service center, trolling motor dealer, service center, Yamaha, Pathfinder, War Eagle. They keep me on the water so I can catch these babies. Then come on in down towards Leeville. You got Boudreaux's Waterfront Motel, tie your boat to your bed. Guest only. Really sweet place to stay. Griffin's across the street where I get my ice, crispy chicken, great food. Life is good in Lafourche Parish neighborhood. Here's the Marina Minute. I'm following it with the map. Boudreaux's Waterfront Motel. Dock your boat at the end of the pier right under your room. Set up your grill. Got your own fish cleaning station, your own ramp. And for big groups, enjoy the sunset at the Boudreaux House. Boudreaux's in Leeville.
Griffin's Marina and Ice has bag, block, and blown ice for whatever size boat. Both dockside and roadside ethanol-free fuel, convenience store, breakfast, crispy chicken, all conveniently located in downtown Leeville.
Renovations is your complete marine center for sales, parts, and service. Pathfinder, War Eagle boats, Minn Kota Motor Guide trolling motors, Power Pole and Minn Kota anchoring systems, pumps, trailer parts. Renovations will keep you on the water. You can see I'm anchored pretty shallow on this point, 3.4 feet of water, 77-degree water temperature, got a current going by 1/10 of a knot. You can see the fish and you can see the hard bottom of the point. All right, let's go pages. Let's go over to map, enter. All right, so you can see Philo Bryce and you can see all my trails all over this island. I'm on the south point. If you look at the map real close, that orange color is more of the island that's underwater. The green and the blue is actually the island that's showing. So you can see I'm fishing this underwater point on the south side. See how far that point goes out? So I'm right up close to it. You can fish this whole point. A lot of territory. And I'm on the upcurrent side. Notice where the boat is. I'm on the upcurrent side. Water's going this way. So I'm positioned up current on an incoming tide, down current on a falling tide, always fishing in front of the structure, okay, casting to it. Okay, so let's look at the coordinates for the south point. Okay, this is 29, 10, I can barely see it, 691, west, 90, 20, 854. There's your coordinates. I'm going to go ahead and enter because I want to save the southern point. Puts me a little mark on it. Okay, there you go. There's the map feature. Brought to you by the good folks at Lowrance. Feels like a good fish again. Shaking his head like a trout, but it could be a red. Tide is switching. Don't forget, folks, on speckled trout, they got to be 12 inches, and you can have 25 per person. Redfish got to be 16 inches. 5 you can have per person, and 1 over 27. This is a good fish, whatever it is. Really pulling. Might be a cat or a ray or just no telling. Let's see what comes up. Oh, big speck is our red, one of them. Oh no, it's another red. All right. Oh man, I'm gonna catch a nice mess of specks and a nice mess of reds. And look, remember I was telling you about the tail? It's almost time to go to that northeast point. Tide is falling. How do I know? Look at that redfish's tail. See the blue? It's expanding even more. So if I hang here, I'll start catching reds where the whole tail is lit up fluorescent blue like that. You know when they're lit blue like that, you know that they're feeding. And these are just the right size. Now you can tell it's an outside red because look at the hunk that got taken out of his side right here. So you know, sharks, all kind of things, but red survived. And here he is, gonna make it to my dinner table. Life's tough for some of these fish. But you know, folks, some of them just want to be on TV, and I'm glad to oblige them. Stay tuned. more fishing action from the spot. Stick with us. Alright, I got a bull red, came up and hit the line. My static line that I had out, he's really taking lines on my chasing. You can see he's just a freight train from hell. That's the perfect description of a Jack Crevalle. There he is, big, huge Jack Crevalle. Broke me off. I mean, broke me off close too. Well, folks, there you have it. Another edition of Between the Banks. I gotta tell you, that Jack Crevalle kicked my butt into next week. And you can see how far we had to fight him off the island. So here's to hoping that y'all never get a Jack Crevalle on your line. Because if you do, it's a freight train from hell, folks. It's like being on wicked tuna. It's the best cardio workout that you can ever get. So, to all the heart specialists out there, I did my cardio work for the day. Now, I've got Turtle and Justin in the boat with me. Turtle's directing. Justin is training on the camera. She's teaching him. Since we finally got the show shot, I'm going to put my umbrella up and I'm going to take him to that northeast point where you saw us hammering the fish last episode. And I'm going to let him finish out getting limited out. We're going to come in with a nice mess of speckled trout. Folks, if you learned one thing from this show, patience. Patience. All those boats that came and left, not patient. All those guys running around, not patient. All those boats that would pass by and say, oh, there's Captain Bob, and just plow their way and wake us down, they didn't catch anything either. Gotta be patient. Gotta know when the fish are biting. Look at your sonar. If the sonar is filled with fish, you know the fish are there. I'm gonna try and cool off under the umbrella. I'll see you next week with another edition of Between the Banks. Make sure you tune in and see if I'm still alive. Too much work entirely for someone that has retired. Oh, by the way, if you'd like to fish on Between the Banks, call the Between the Banks fishing line, 504-458-9451. Great way to come on the water and advertise your business and talk about what you do for a living. And don't worry, Captain Bob will put you on the fish. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, good luck fishing. All right, Justin, Teresa, y'all hook up. I'm getting under the umbrella and I'm taking a nap.